Hello and welcome to an overview of how to create references using APA at Conestoga. Let's start by asking the question, what is a reference? Anytime you use research in your papers, you are going to need both a citation and a reference. The citation appears right next to the research in the body of your paper, and the reference appears on the last page of your paper. The citation is just a short form version of that matching reference in the longer form. If you look at the first highlighted example here, we see this information was taken from a source where the author's last name was Robson. It was published in 2010, and the information can be found on page 301. If you follow the red arrow down to the corresponding reference, we see some of that same information, Robson, 2010. However, now we have more information added to help your reader be able to find that source if they want to learn more. Now that we know what a reference is, let's talk about how to create them. There are four main parts to every reference. First, you need the name of the author or all of the authors if there's more than one. Next, you need the date of when the work was published. Then you need the title of the work. And finally, you need to indicate the source telling your reader where the work can be found. Since every different type of source is referenced slightly differently, has developed a website with all of these formulas on it for you. To find these reference formulas on the main page of the website, click on the box that says Reference List, and then on the left-hand side, under Source Types, select the type of source that you're using. For right now, let's select Websites. Then you'll be brought to different formulas and examples for different types of websites. Let's look at the formula for a website with a corporate author. In this formula, you start with the author, so the full name of the company. Then in brackets, include the year, the month, and the date that this information was published. Next, in italics, you want to include the title of the web page. And finally, you want to add that URL to the web page at the end. Let's practice creating a reference for an actual website. The first thing you want to look for is who is the author. This can often be found at the very top of the web page, like we see here, Government of Canada. Next, you're going to want to look for when was this published or last updated. This can sometimes be found at the very top of the web page, but it can also usually be found at the very bottom, like we see on this web document, date modified 2020, January 27th. This is the publication date that you're going to want to include in your reference. You don't want to include any years that might happen to appear in the writing on the web page. Next, you're going to need to include the title of the web page. For this, you want to make sure you use the main title, not any subtitles that may fall below it. For this website, that main title is UN Climate Change Conference. Make sure when you add this to your reference that you italicize it. Lastly, you're going to need to copy and paste this URL that appears at the top of the web document at the end of your reference. When you copy this in, make sure you keep the blue underline, the hyperlink, that appears. The last step to creating a reference is formatting it and adding a hanging indent. To do this on Word, simply highlight the full reference and then right-click, then click the word paragraph. And for the drop-down menu under Special, Select hanging and press OK.